Ladies and gentlemen, our guest has arrived.
Hello.
Don Greca, welcome back to WRPR. How you doing?
You know what? I'm embarrassed because I asked you for the phone number, and it brought back a lot of memories when I saw it. So I thought maybe you would have changed it after 20-some years, but it's the same phone number.
Don, thank you so much for coming on. It's an honor, and I want to give you a personal thank you for the shout-out that you and Michael and Ruko gave a while back now, because honestly, without that shout-out, I don't know where we stand with this radio show right now. So thank you very much from me and from everyone here at WRPR. It was incredible.
Well, listen, I'm not doing what I'm doing right now without that radio station. So when you have alerted me, and many different people alerted me about the situation, something had to be done about it, because quite frankly, I learned more where you're sitting right now than in any class. And then that's not to take anything away from all the teachers that I had. They did a great job, but the hands-on experience, I think, set everything in motion for me to be able to do what I'm doing right now.
Right. I hope I can eventually say the same thing. So what were your 4 years like here at Ramapo? What was it like being in the chair that I'm sitting in right now?
I'll tell you what, because of the radio station, 4 years became 6 years. Because I spend way too much time at the radio station and not enough time in class. So, unfortunately, my parents, were middle class, so I was taking the minimum credits and working at a pharmacy in Glen Rock, New Jersey. So between that and spending so much time in the radio station, it actually took me from 86 to 92 to finally graduate. But
right.
It was so much fun. The sports that I covered, doing basketball games and baseball games, but the Beast is Unleashed, the metal show that I did on Friday night, trouble that I used to get into, sneaking bands into this radio station after hours and getting in trouble with not only the security at Rambo College, but sometimes the police, made it for a lot of fun. But in all seriousness, it was the best choice for me. I could have gone to bigger schools and maybe not got a chance to be on the station until my senior year or junior year, but I have nothing but fond memories about that school. It was some of the best times I ever spent in my life there.
The police probably saw your mullet back then and said, all right, we got to get this guy.
Yeah, no, exactly. But there was, we had a nice show, The Beast is Unleashed. We played a lot of metal music, and a lot of local bands came on. And I remember when they threatened to take us off the air, security wouldn't told us to get off the air because we were sneaking bands in, and I refused to get off the air, and they called the police. So the Mawa police came, and it was like a scene out of a movie. There were like listeners that drove to the parking lot and were listening to us in their cars and on their boom boxes outside, and we were able to talk our way into staying on the radio station. It was a lot of fun, but we got to know those guys, and they were cool.
Good.
But we were taking it seriously. Like they thought that we were just messing around, but I was trying to tell them this was important to us. And radio's always been important. It was never a way to goof off. It was never a way to kill time. It was something that I was very, very serious about. And if you take what you go to school seriously, you can definitely make something out of it.
Good. Believe in what you stand for. That's what I live by. So you do ESPN radio with the Michael K. Show. Pre and post with the Rangers. You got to call the Stanley Cup last year. I'm sure that was incredible. You called Game 2 in the first round. You do stuff for the Jets. When you were at Ramapo, when you were at Sports Phone, interning for Howard Stern, did you expect any of this?
No. I mean, I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I went to Ramapo to play baseball. I was recruited to play baseball. They won the World Series, Division III World Series in '84. And I went to Ramapo thinking I was just going to play baseball. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I had won a communications award my senior year in high school. So I figured, I'll just take communications. And when I got cut from the baseball team, it just seemed natural to go and cover it. But never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would get to where I am now. I always felt like I had a chance to work in the business. I thought I might be good enough to have a job in the business. But like you were just kind of talking about the things that I do, I had never dreamed that I would get a chance to do and cover and meet the people that I've got to meet. So I've been very, very fortunate that way.
Hey, I think you would have made a good baseball player. I saw that picture on the Michael K. show today. You looked good in those sweatpants.
Yeah, with the shorts over them. That was a big '80s thing back then.
Nowadays, we do the shorts underneath the sweatpants.
Yeah, no, nobody thought of that. The '80s, it was like, listen, with the mullet, there was a lot of decisions that we made because it was acceptable at the time. It's certainly 30 years later not looked upon the same way.
Right. So, do you have a favorite moment in your career so far?
Well, calling Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final has to be up there. To be the hockey guy that I am and to do play-by-play for that significant a game on the road in Los Angeles and all that entailed is, it was a dream come true to be able to do that. To do pre and post and those championship games for the Jets in 2009 and 2010, to be in the building in Indianapolis and Pittsburgh, and knowing how important it was to that fan base, and to be able to do that, and just to be, just to be on an afternoon drive show, to be a part of the Michael K. show and to grow into that has been great. That first time on WFAN doing updates was a dream come true as well, because all those years I listened to the station and get a chance to work there. I had to pinch myself when that happened too. So there were different stages, but those are probably the three things that jump into my mind. That my first experience as a fan, having listened, and then I described it to somebody that it was like getting called up to the major leagues.
Right.
To work at Sports Phone and do updates on 10-10 wins on the weekends, and to get called up to an all-sports radio station like that, blew me away. And then working with Michael and then doing the Jets and the Rangers has been a dream come true.
Right. You mentioned how big of a hockey guy you are. You work for the Rangers. Well, you work with the Rangers, but you grew up a huge Devil fan. I'm a huge Yankee fan, and if I worked for the New England Sports Network, I don't know how I would be able to call a a Sox game and cheer for them. So was it hard to drop that Devils fandom?
Nah, it really wasn't, believe it or not, because you love what you do, and you kind of root for you. You want to do well, and you want to be able to get as far as you can in the business, and you never know where the business is going to take you. And as big a fan as I am of the teams that I grew up with, it wasn't nearly as big of wanting to do so well in my career. I mean, where you are now. You make investments. I can't tell you how many times I worked making no money, working 16-hour shifts, doing all the grunt work in hopes that the day would come where I'd catch a break. And so when those breaks come, you can't really sometimes have the choice of, well, I like the opportunity, but I'd rather do it for this team, or I'd rather do it in this market, or I'd rather do it in this way. You take them.
Right.
And so as big a Devil fan as I was growing up, to be around hockey, to call games for the Rangers, to be able to broaden my career, it was really a no-brainer. It was a very easy thing to do. So anybody out there listening who couldn't fathom doing what they love to do for a different team than they root for, then I'd have to wonder, how much do you love doing what you're doing for a living? If the only way you could do it is to do it for your favorite team. So, I would say to you, you're a huge Yankee fan, but if an opportunity came to do the Mets or the Red Sox and you couldn't do it because you hated that team so much, then obviously you're not in the right business, because you and expanding your career should be the most important thing in the world.
Right. Hey, it could be worse. It could be Rothenberg and leave your house for 3 days when the Giants lose.
Well, he's got some issues there. We make fun of it, but in all seriousness, that guy's got a lot of problems. But we love him, and he's going to have to face his kids one day and explain that story to them, and I'm not sure they're going to appreciate it as much as some people do.
I love hearing that story. Speaking of the Rangers, they won the series 4-1. You know a lot more about the Rangers than I do, but are you at all worried that the offense hasn't been putting the puck in the net? Every game they won was a 2-1 game.
Yeah, but you look at Montreal, they went 6 games with Ottawa, and every game was 1 goal except for Game 5. You look at Anaheim, who swept Winnipeg, and 3 of those 4 games they trailed in the 3rd period. These are the playoffs. Nothing comes easy in the postseason.
Right.
I mean, Tampa was a heavy favorite, and here they are facing elimination tonight. The Capitals haven't allowed a power play goal, and yet they're playing in Game 7 tonight. So, you know, it's not like the regular season where you can get fat on some of the bad teams and get on a roll and catch teams on a bad night. Everybody's got the same schedule, playing the same team, a team that's very familiar with you. You don't look at the final score as much as you look at, hey, they won it in 5.
Right.
And we've seen this team struggle in their early rounds before and have it cost them a chance of winning a championship. So I don't think you care that all the goals were, you know, all the games were 1 goal and all wins were 2-1. They won it in 5. They're going to get a nice rest going into the next round. That's the way you got to look at it.
Would you rather them face the Capitals or the Islanders next round?
You know, just selfishly as a hockey fan, I want it to be the Islanders. But
Right.
I think even if you're a Ranger fan, you got to like the Islanders because of the fact that they're so banged up on the blue line. I mean,
That's
they're having
right.
to play Leddy and Boychuk so many minutes because Wisnowski is injured and Hamannik's hurt. So I think you'd rather go with the more banged up team. And certainly I think they can beat both of the teams. But I think even though the Islanders had their number early, I think that the Islanders would be the team that you'd rather face.
What about the injury to Zuccarello? How do you think that's going to affect the Rangers?
You know, it really depends on what it is. I mean, if it's a broken jaw, I think he can come back and be fine. If it's a concussion, which I think it might be,
Right.
You never know because not only how long will it take him to come back, but also how will he play when he comes back. Remember, a big guy like Rick Nash suffers a concussion, and you saw him having struggles getting into the dirty areas. I mean, this is a guy that's diminutive in size, and if he can't play his game and rough it up, that could be a major problem.
Right. We're talking to Don LaGreca on WRPR 90.3 FM, Ramapo College Radio. Moving sports, how impressed are you with the New York Mets? Outside of the Subway Series, but what is it, 10 out of 14, 10 out of 15, something like that?
Oh, you got to be impressed with them. I mean, that's the best record in baseball. I know it's only April. I know that they've played some teams that are considered less than 500, but hey, they're hitting. They're situationally hitting. They're playing well at home, which they never seem to do. They've got a tremendous pitching staff. All right, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. So what? That was at Yankee Stadium. But I think you got to be absolutely thrilled. Does it mean they're going to the playoffs? Does it mean they're winning a championship? Absolutely not. But there's nothing wrong with having the best record in baseball this deep in April. That's good.
The thing that I'm most impressed about is the fact that things were not going their way, and they come back anyway. Mejia's gone. Okay, no problem. David Wright's gone. No problem. Darno and Blemis, they get injured, and they still win without them. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's got to make you feel good that they can win without some of the key members. And, you know, you take it back to the Rangers, look at the injuries they suffered during the year.
Right.
And they just seem to get stronger because of it. Remember, you're not just judged on your best players. You're judged on how deep you are. And Morik comes up and he does the job. Campbell comes up and he does the job.
Right.
Amelia becomes the closer. He does the job. So that's what really judges how good a team you are. Now, over the long haul, that's going to catch up with you. They got to get these guys healthy. But it also shows you that they got the character to handle it. And more importantly, they got the depth to handle it.
Are you concerned about their infield, though? I mean, Murphy has been atrocious. Wilmer Flores is Wilmer Flores. We're waiting on David Wright, and Lucas Duda, he's no above-average fielder. So is that a main concern for you?
Oh, I think that's a major problem. I mean, that was the thing that I was worried about going into the season. How would they defend? And I don't know if over the long haul they're going to hit well or be among the best offensive teams in baseball. So they're kicking the ball around. I don't know what you do about it. I mean, you could put Tejada at short and move Flores to second, but then you'll lose Murphy's bat. But
Right.
Murphy hasn't really hit anyway. I don't know what you do with Murphy. Nobody's going to want him.
Right.
Al Leiter made a great job, made a great point on the broadcast Saturday that you can't really send him to an American League team in DH because he doesn't hit home runs.
Exactly.
So I don't know what the Mets do there. I think you're just going to have to grit and bear it. And maybe at some point some team is interested in Murphy and you can deal him away. You know, maybe you bring Herrera up, but I just think Murphy's bat is too important to sit on the bench no matter how bad he's been to start the season.
Right, I agree 100%. Moving teams, A-Rod hit his 659th career home run last night. Do you think he should make his $6 million?
When Michael K. brought up the aspect of the contract that I had not heard reported elsewhere, that there's no obligation to give him the $6 million. I think they have a chance to win this thing, but ultimately, I was talking about it on the air today. I mean, does anybody really care I'm passing Willie Mays? I mean, does it matter? I mean, there's a whole generation of fans that don't care about the numbers anyway.
Right.
So it's not like he's hitting the most home runs ever. He didn't pass Bonds. He didn't pass Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't know how much money you can even make off of it. But, hey, it's in the contract. He's a player for you. Sometimes you need to be the bigger man and just give him the money because that's in the contract. But there seems to be an ugliness around it. But others have reported and said that it's no big deal. So right. I guess the Yankees trying to fight to take that off the books. But sometimes you got to live with the language of the contract, and I guess we'll figure out how it works out. I don't know how they, even without PEDs,
assuming,
how do the Yankees actually make money out of him fourth in the home run title? I don't get that.
Yep, agreed. The NFL draft on Thursday. What would you like to see the Giants and Jets do?
Well, the Giants need to bolster that offensive line. You've got all that money invested in Eli Manning, and he's not a mobile quarterback, so right. They have to address that offensive line. They've tried it via free agency the last few years. It really hasn't worked to the level that they want it to. So if there is a player, I know there's a couple that could be an impact player at that pick. I like offensive line. And also, there's nothing wrong with offense. I mean, there really isn't. I understand that you've got two great wide receivers, but do you really have a third? Is Ruben Randle that good?
I think Dwayne Harris is that good.
Yeah. So, you just wonder, is everybody going to be able to come back healthy? Is Victor Cruz going to come back and be 100%? He says he will be, but we'll find out once he plays.
Yep.
So I think offensive side of the ball, they can always use a linebacker. But to answer your question, offensive line, I think.
Yep. How about the Jets? A lot of rumors about Mariota. Who knows? Really, who knows? But what would you, if you were a Jet fan, what would you want them to do?
They are also a team that needs to address, I think, the offensive line at some point. They're getting a little longer in the tooth. Guys are getting older. Mangold's getting older. Ferguson's getting older. But it's an old team, right? I mean, you're looking outside of the quarterback position, which you hope you get better at. You go out and you get a 33-year-old wide receiver. You've got older players on your defense. The secondary certainly is older now, bringing in Revis and then bringing in Cromartie. I don't know about Mariota. I really don't. I mean, I'm interested in him only because I think he's got more of an upside than what they have now. I mean, Fitzpatrick kind of is what he is, and I have a feeling Geno Smith is what he is. We've seen him for 2 years now. We haven't seen great improvement. I'm interested to see what he'll do with a few more weapons, but I don't know if you can win a championship with him.
Agreed.
So I just don't know if Mariota's going to be there to pick. I don't know if they have what it takes to trade up for him. But there's something about Mariota that makes me think that at least there'll be some excitement around the team if they got him.
Yep, definitely. All right, before I let you go, I saw your Felix Unger tweet yesterday, which is hysterical. I got to ask you, what is your favorite Odd Couple episode?
Wow. Well, I mean, an easy one would be the password. Without London, that was tremendous. Betty White.
Oh, I hope my parents are listening to this right now.
It's hard not to have that be the one. I DVR them, and that's the one that I save because I just don't have the heart to delete it. So I think password is my favorite.
Aristophanes. I think the best one is that one and the horse racing one. Those two are absolutely classic.
Yeah, and also anyone with Howard Cosell and Oscar auditioning for Monday Night Football. That was pretty good as well.
It's funny. They're great show. Don LaGreca, thank you so much for coming on to the show. It's a huge honor. Welcome back to WRPR. It was.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what, just let me know, because I love to come up. I love being you to host the show for like an hour or something, hang out, take some calls. I'd love to do that.
Great. Awesome. Well, we got 2 more shows left because finals are next week. And then my friend Scott transferring here next year is going to be our show. So next semester, we will definitely keep you posted.
What grade are you in now? What year?
Sophomore.
Okay, so you got a couple of years left, right?
Yep.
Oh, when I was a sophomore, I had 4 years left, so hopefully you don't have as many years as I had. But, no, seriously, stay in touch. I love to come up there and hang out, man. You do a good job. I'd like to just check everything out and hang out for a while. It's busy now, but whenever it kind of frees up, it'd be kind of cool to do.
Sweet. Thank you very much. Hey, you know what would help? Call my name tomorrow for the 30K in 30 days.
No, I can't do that. My name.
Don Greca, thank you very much. A huge honor. Can't thank you enough. We will keep in touch, definitely.
My pleasure, buddy. Take care.
All right, take care.